We are live on the monthly SEO Talk webinar. This is your host Malhar, and I am so glad to be here along with Isha, who has been the member of the community for us for a long, long time, and brings with her wealth of experience from the SEO industry. She has been here before. She has been on the text chat also multiple times. She has been on spaces. So we have been kind of omnipresent across platforms. So glad to see you here, Isha. Again, good morning to you. And maybe we'll start with a short intro and then dive right into the topic.
Thank you, Malhar. Thank you, Malhar, for a great introduction. Good morning to you, and good morning to all the folks who have joined, especially on the Saturday morning. I would say that on the weekend they are spending the time listening us. We are very. I'm humbly, and I'm humble, and I'm grateful to all of the folks who are joining today's SEO talk. Uh, and it's really great to see us back in this. I think it's been long. I'm doing this webinar, so it's more than a year or so when we did. So yeah, so it's a good platform. I mean, people who don't know me, I'm Isha. I'm Isha Arora Mehendirata. I come up with more than near to 2 decades experience in SEO. I've worked with a couple of agencies, recently started my own agency as well, working on some proprietary tool and constantly helping the community, constantly helping the women's in SEO space. So I'm also growing my organization more from the women's side. Uh, Having said that, we'll talk more on the conference, but yes, so we are also hoping that next year we will have more women's in the SEO space. So yeah, that's about it from me.
Thank you. Fantastic. And that was a good start because you just mentioned about the conference and also spoke about your experience, so which is about 2 decades almost. So you have seen a lot of transition across the entire SEO industry. And
Yes.
probably right now, we see the industry is like, okay, everyone is wondering, is SEO dead? Is SEO evolving? Is this happening? Is that happening? Kind of stuff, right? And
Yeah.
probably the conference that we just attended a couple of weeks back was probably an eye opener because we had few guests coming in from different parts of the world. So
Correct.
maybe we can start off with that, right? Like, what was your kind of overall experience at that conference, and
Yeah.
what were some of the key takeaways for you from there?
Yes. So I'll tell you a lot of more of an honest feedback. So first of my whole objective to attend this conference also was to test the waters, because being into the SEO industry from last 2 years, I was constantly thinking, I said, is it my right decision to start an SEO agency? Should I be doing something else? And all that was a constant bug which was happening in my head. So in by 2025, when we were revisiting our yearly plans for the organization, this event came in, and me and a couple of board of directors of my organization, we decided, let's go to this event and then let's decide what we have to do further. So one thing for sure which came up in this conference was SEO is not going anywhere. So it's evolving. Evolving is the right word, which I would say. And SEO was always evolving, if you ask me. I think if I come from the if I talk about the experience, I have seen the era of Web 2.0, and or rather dial-up era, where we have only static website and SEOs. And at that time, also SEO exists because Google started creating their search engine. Then they started modifying it. Now, one thing which came up very clearly in the conference also was that we need to start thinking beyond Google as well when it comes to SEO. So it's a omni-channel kind of a thing. Search, wherever the search is, SEO is. So we all have to start thinking from that side. So SEO is evolving. SEO is not going anywhere. How you are selling your services is all that matters, and also how you are upgrading yourself in terms of the change. So, one thing which I learned in my last to last organization with one of my manager was he said that we in SEO field are always students. So we are constantly learning. So we are kids. So the more you will be learning, the more you'll be evolving. I don't think so. You'll go anywhere. The only thing which I feel is people needs to start thinking beyond basics of SEO. So then only you will be able to conquer the world of SEO. Now, if you ask me about the conference, yes, it was. I mean, if you, it was an eye opener. Personally, it was overwhelming. Honestly, it was very overwhelming to for me because I feel in the field of SEO, after SEM Rush, this is the first one which has happened at this level. We used to have very smaller ones, but this level where there are a lot of international folks, there are 2 day constant event. There are so much of information to gauge. Like I was literally struggling. Should I go in this session? Should I go in this session? Because there were a lot of things happening parallelly. Should I go networking? There were tools people were talking about, and there are and then yes, you also get to know that there are so many people in the industry we're still not aware of, and they are doing such a great job. They are at a such a great level in their own field. So it was a good it was a good space where you made a very good community, SEO community. Second, I would say that this community is the first one which is so active in SEO automation, because I mean there are a lot of folks who have clearly said that they have not seen any active groups or active people in automation the which came up in this particular community. Third was of course a lot of learnings. Fourth was, of course, networking, like people who want to network. Last key was we need to take this conference more as a collaborative approach. All SEO people came at one platform to help each other, learn each other, collaborate with each other to make the field better and make things smoother for each other.
No, fantastic. So I completely echo your thought in terms of say some of the key takeaways, right? And what I probably figured out is again, and I think Navneet mentioned this during his session that SEO is more like search everywhere optimization, right?
Yes,
Not
yes,
just search engine optimization. So anywhere where the search is happening, any platform or search is happening, you probably should be looking at and understanding how to optimize for those channels, right? Don't limit yourself to Google or couple of search engines only because there is people are consuming or asking questions at a lot of other platforms. And something I guess we talked about on the SEO talk spaces also sometime back was how you can probably optimize for TikTok. How can you optimize for even something like an Instagram? Because at least in India, people are looking at Instagram, searching for something on that platform. So anywhere there is a search bar, you need to understand how search is happening there, and you have to look at optimizing for those platforms because probably your consumers are using that platform and they may not even be coming to Google, right? So
correct.
that means, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. I was just saying that you're so right. Right. Go it.
Yeah. And I also like the networking bit because there was enough time that we could connect with people across the conference. The couple of days, I know I met some amazing brains across those 2 days. Uh, Loved listening to them, even if I may not have introduced myself to them, but just standing beside them, just hearing their thoughts on certain stuff that they are doing. Wow, that was like mind blowing, eye opener, whatever you call it, right? So some things. So I'll also go back to say Kira's session on hreflang, right?
Yeah.
So much information. Probably I got introduced to hreflang when Elida was putting together some presentations around it. But beyond that, it has evolved so much. So there are so many things probably that we learned during those sessions. So again, someone who has probably multi-country websites, probably a website probably should look at hreflang and how that implementation can help you. So yeah, I guess a lot of takeaways. So I'll move on to the next question, right? And probably what I feel is that we could probably bucket this entire conference across three tracks, if I can, again, based on what I understood. One is the entire technical SEO bit, right? The sec- and then even when I say technical SEO, you can also look at the programmatic SEO bit, which Kaushal talked about, right? How you can scale certain pages, etc. Then it is all the generic SEO bits, right, in terms of trends and all other stuff, and also the AI in SEO. So, if we look at those three kind of tracks on across the conference, right? What are your thoughts across each of those tracks? And again, from a very, if people are watching this and people watching this during replays, right? If they had to tackle one of them first, right? Which do you think should they be tackling first? Should they be looking at technical slash programmatic SEO? Should be looking at just ensuring the basics are right in terms of generic SEO, or should they be looking at the most shiniest thing right now, which is AI in SEO?
Okay, so I think maybe I'll take this in a very different approach because I personally feel even in the conference I felt the same thing, and now also I feel the people who are joining the session are folks who knows SEO. So basics is something which everyone here I'm assuming by default that they know that okay basics has to be taken care of and we should not give too much of information on the basics uh, there. Yeah, sorry, Malhar.
So only thing is, even when I say basic, right? Because I know Himani talked about EAT also, right? So would you just probably want to touch upon that and then
Correct. Sure.
because
No,
sometimes when I say basic, while we know that this is important, we still probably like, okay, let me tackle it little later, right? So
I'll make the basic very basic. Like I mean, it's I mean I'm just talking about basic in terms of adding meta tags, adding H1s, adding H2s. That's it. Like that's the only basic which I'm talking about. Having ensure, which nowadays even the developer does. So when they create the website, they ensure that the title, descriptions, and H1s are rightly placed. So that's my understanding of basic. Now, if you talk about the conference, I think one buzzword in the conference in each and every presentation was AI in SEO, which in the till end we were talking about okay, every presentation, somewhere or the other, we had a conversation around AI in SEO. Now, if we talk about uh, I mean, if I remember all the sessions which we had, so if you talk about from the technical side, we had some very great sessions. Of course, we had like you already mentioned cautions about programmatic, but I mean, if I start, I think the best part of the session when where how the conference actually started was when the first session if you I don't know if you were present there, the Kyle session where do the butterfly remember that he was the caterpillar was like a eye opener that okay now you're freshly starting. So there what he clearly mentioned was that so the story was very simple that even you when you becomes a butterfly do you still remember that you're a caterpillar. So although you are evolving in SEO you cannot leave the basics in hand. So ensuring that the basics are being taken care of but also evolving yourself as a butterfly if you want to grow. So if you want to grow into the field of SEO, you need to grow in terms of other fields as well. Now, taking a call on whether you should do programmatic, whether you should do this, it it is all strategic approach, which also very visibly came up with every presentation which we had. So when we were talking about, I think when they, I mean the other, I mean I'm just trying to recollect the the presentations, but the Bendix presentation of zero click LLMs was also very good in terms of where he clearly, like, he again talked about the same thing. I mean, search everywhere, and how you're going to use LLMs, and how you are ensuring that you are having LLMs in your strategy. So strategy was also very important part of it. Although people were talking basics, but they were telling you that how to use these basics in your general strategy. If you are having this problem, then try to use this. If you are facing this problem, then try to use this. Try to experiment into different ways. So one thing which very visibly came up, and which everybody in SEO needs to understand, is you need to think through what you are implementing. You just cannot have one basic approach saying that, okay, this is what it is. Okay, if I mean, it's a very simple way. If there's a local website, you have to do Google My Business. If a local website, you have to do international SEO, or you have to have hreflang. But if it is an e-commerce, you need to understand what are the basics of Shopify. You cannot implement the local ones in the e-commerce. So that's one very important aspect, which was very nicely visible. Next, I think, uh, which for me, which was the greatest learning, was AI and SEO. Yes, automation and AI. I think I already told you, Malar, also, which I'll be talking to you separately as well. Uh, Gumlu was the key tool, because we had a workshop, we had a session, and it was a great session. I think everybody talked about this session. Like, people who have came with me also, everybody was vouching about. I mean, we all were vouching about Rakesh Patel's way of taking the whole session, and then ensuring that the next workshop also was so engaging that we were there to learn. So AI and SEO, and another important thing from an agency perspective, which I consumed, was a lot of processes in SEO are getting automated. So people there are automating. People have shared their scripts, people have shared their sheets, how they are creating it. It was clearly visible that every small task is getting automated. It's all on you how you're automating it, and it's all on you how you want to process it. So that's the last part of it. So basics has to be there. Technical, on page, everything you have to implement, but ensure that that is strategically part of uh, your strategically part of your campaign. And then, last but not the least, and yes, one more thing which also came up was SEO is not no more a silos kind of a thing. SEO has to be, as a marketer, SEO has to be collectively thought through. As a marketer, like, when you're talking to brands also, you need to tell them that why you are doing SEO, and what kind of an impact SEO will make to their campaigns. Also, very important thing, which I still remember. I don't remember who said that, but somebody said on the stage was, uh, people talk about numbers on that particular month. So, for example, there's a campaign which, as an SEO, I start working on it. We talk about ROI based on what has performed this particular month, but we don't. But nobody talks about that. If a SEO person has worked on you, that will stay for next 6 months. So the ROI you are getting is actually for 6 to 1. 1 year is not just for 1 or 2 months. So you need to calculate and educate your clients, your people, at the value of SEO, which was very clearly visible. And so, yeah, I mean, I think AI in SEO is the next buzzword, which people will be looking ahead also, and want to explore as well. I think that's the place where you need to evolve. Uh, and strategy is another thing. Like, you need to really think through where and what you're implementing.
Completely agree, and I guess there was question also earlier around how AI plus SEO can be unstoppable growth, and we completely agree. But again, see, I'll go back to Rakesh's session, etc. And if I don't go macro on it, and if I look at it, say from a little higher level, what I understand more is it depends on how you define your process, right? You can only automate if you understand your process very well, right? So for anything that you do, there has to be a very clear SOP defined for whatever you want to achieve, right? So it could be, say, even your as basic as interlinking of pages, right? What is your SOP for interlinking of that pages? And then take a view of it and say, okay, can I automate a certain part of it? Because automation is not a replacement of a human capital. It is more of how you can make that human become more productive, right? So I will always look at it from that point of view on both of Rakesh's session in terms of, can I empower my staff or myself or my agency or my brand to do something at a scale using an AI tool, rather than I think of that, okay, am I going to replace this five junior most members and have an AI tool to do that? Don't think of it that way. Think of it that how can I train this five people to use an AI tool better so that I can have more clients, I can do something more for my agency, my brand, or myself, so that again everyone is here to, and I believe so that all of us are here to earn more. And if
Yeah.
that is the goal, think of it, don't think of it as a replacement of that human. Think of it as how can I get more done, get more clients, and get more work and get paid more using those tools. So I probably look at it from that perspective.
No, I think, I mean, it's not just Rakesh session in general also. I am not looking AI in general also as it's going to replace people. I mean, as I said in the start also, it's about evolving. Like, I mean, if you're going to upgrade yourself, even if you are making these processes, you need somebody who's going to implement those processes. You need somebody who's going to create those processes. So you will need people only to execute this. After that, also someone who's going to implement that on the website, someone who's going to do R&D of it, someone who's going to validate those processes. So it's always a human element beyond the automation as well. So like AI is not going to replace people. AI is just going to, so it's just that we have to be smarter. Like, see, we are humans. I think like that's the best part we should be thinking of, that our brains are blessed, and we are the ones who are creating the AI. So we should be smarter than AIs, how to execute it. So yeah, so I think I mean one of the comment where I think Tushar is also here, so he was also there present. So he said, yeah, the balls, like the kicking the balls was of course the great thing he did. Rakesh was like, the best part I felt with throwing balls on the stage was the best part of Rakesh session, which Tushar has said in one of the comments. So, but I think best part I felt he even did that was because of this, the attention of people was constantly on him. So that was again a new like that was a good strategy to learn from this, from how to capture the audience from the stage as well. Learning beyond SEO, I would say. But yeah, I think somebody said that they're curious about Rakesh Patel's session. Can you briefly explain what he
Yeah, it was,
showcased?
I think Suresh has mentioned how AI SEO. Okay, I know there
You,
was, yeah,
you,
KU asking it about
correct.
practice session.
Yeah. So Malha, you want to speak about it, or you want me?
Sure. So, KU, something, see, we had couple of sessions, right? So one was a basic session on automation in SEO, and then the next day was more of a workshop led where we literally took a use case, and that was, say, Boni is one of the use case, and say, okay, if I have to do an entire SEO research, how can I use automation to do it, right? And the best part of it is whatever he did, whatever that entire process he did, he has given QR codes to for that entire process, right? So you can literally go and look at that, the all the steps that he has done, and it is like a very thorough. I don't know. It is at least a 30 or 40 step process that he has done. Across the entire, right from getting the problem statement in terms of okay, what are the things, and something that I also probably do at a certain level is I get a keyword, and then from that keyword, right, can I get some semantically relevant keywords? And from those semantically relevant keywords, right, how am I getting those semantically relevant keywords? So Rakesh's session was more in terms of going through, say, all the Google patents, all. I think he also mentioned something around technical SEO stuff where you could topical authority, if I remember it correctly, right? He mentioned about topical authority and generating all those topics based on that, and then going about how you can write on those each of those topics, right? So that was his entire process. He had automated that entire process, zero human intervention on it. You can give that was one of the use case. The other use case was also using a YouTube link, right? Any thing that you like on YouTube, you can utilize or leverage that link to generate an entire a thorough article around a similar topic, right? So if you are probably researching on some topic, you found a good YouTube video, you don't want to write about that video, but you still want to retain some essence of that video or the content from that video. You can do an entire blog, an entire article based on that, and it's a very thorough process, right? So lot of steps that he had done. So if I guess we will wait for his session on this show to probably talk about it. We had get that, but yeah. So that was. I just wanted to give a gist of it. I can probably share. See, one of the QR code. I probably have the link somewhere. Yeah,
Can we
you
share that
can.
outside the conference, Kamalar? That's the whole question.
I I don't know. Yeah.
Even I don't know. Anyways, I think to summarize what Malhar is saying, and I think if I just have to say in one sentence, his session was a very practical session where he walked us to one tool which is Gumlu. If you can actually go up and explore Gumlu by yourself, you will get to know about it. Second was there is another important thing in SEO world, which is semantic SEO, which people are talking about, and there are people who are working in automation. They are working on semantic SEO a lot. So he is also doing the sessions. I think there's an international person who basically takes classes on semantic SEO. There are people who are doing the same and automating things. So he talked about that. So first day it was all basic, where he tell us how using Gumlu and whatever Malhar talked about, all the cases, he showed us live that how did he basically using Gumlu created these processes and what is the output of the process. Right? You can create a sheet or you can create a document in the end. And the second day was a live workshop where we were given the platform, like come up, have your laptop and start exploring the platform. It has some free credits also, you can start exploring it. Another insight which he gives, I think we can also tell everyone, is try to optimize your credits. Don't run flows, because every flow will have different credits. Try to pause and rerun the flows. That's what he gave us. But it was all about that tool, like that tool, how you want to use that tool, how you want to automate it. Having said that, again, the logic is still same. You need to I mean, he also told us the same thing. Start thinking of one thing which you want to execute, one single thing. Maybe if you want to do just keyword research, start thinking of first step to end step, and then make the flow. So yeah, so that was majorly about Rakesh session, which I remember.
Yeah. So again, I see a few folks asking about Gumloop, etc., or rather AI tools. So, say for me, say again from your understanding perspective or your maturity perspective, if you are trying out today on automation, start with Gumloop. Yeah, your first tool should be Gumloop because there are, even if you don't want to say write your own processes, there are some ready-made templates available which you can start utilizing right away, and start automating some of the processes. Beyond Gumloop, if you are very comfortable with that, you probably know everything now. Switch over or explore a platform called make.com. It is also little similar to Gumloop, but there is little more flexibility. Only thing is it could get little expensive. This is the number of steps that you have, the number of times you are querying AI tool because it has integrated with Claude, it is integrated with ChatGPT, it is integrated with Perplexity. You name any kind of AI tool, most likely it is integrated. So the challenge at both those platforms is you still have to pay some kind of membership fee for each of those platforms. There is a subscription fee for each of those platforms. So if you are okay with Gumloop, you know make.com very well. Then the next platform that you can look at is called N8N. It goes as like, just like I said, N, then you can put a numeric 8 and then N8N. What you can do, so N8N has two models. One is there is a subscription model, but beyond that, there is a community model where you can host N8N on your own servers. So you can do that. You can host it on your own. So you'll save the subscription money and do similar kind of automation there, right? So for anything which is little more advanced, you should look at N8N. There's a lot of flexibility there. The community edition saves you more money also. So explore that. And now that OpenAI has also come up with its own agent model, let us see how that comes out. I've still not explored it, but probably over next few days I'll explore that and also share my learnings from there. Uh, there are a few other questions, Isha, if you want to look at it.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes, and I will also add. I think Tushar already also have added in the comments. So I was talking about the person. So it's Core course on semantic search is what people are doing. Even Rakesh said that he's also taking his course to learn this. So whoever is actually more keen into this AI automation and semantic SEO, you can go up and Google Core's course in SEO, semantic SEO.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Uh,
So, one question which I want to take, I think maybe I'm going to move that first, or the which I really wanted to take was how do we optimize website for LLMs? This was one of the second session, and I remember it very clearly, and which I really wanted to highlight here also. One thing which very, I don't know if you remember Malhar. Um, there, so we talked about LLM. We said that I mean it was actually Benedict's session where he talks about LLM. One very important thing which we need to understand, or rather, again, we need to educate our client also, is that when we are ranking for LLMs, you will also start seeing that your impressions are growing, but your clicks are dropping. He clearly mentioned that if you are ranking on, if like you like Google, although it like has the complete information, and in their own platform, if it is giving you the answer, nobody is going to click on your website. So it was very clear, visible that when you're optimizing for LLM, doesn't do not expect too much in terms of clicks. So that's one thing which he clearly said. Now, if I really want to answer, if I really remember a few of very important points that how do you optimize it? Again, although these are basics, but still it is important. One is having schema, like having your structured in the right place. Second is you need to focus on conversational and natural language. That's an again important thing which they really talked about. They said that if your audience talk about English, they talk in a English tone, that they have English and Hindi combination, then you ensure that your content is also written in the same language. So it has to be in the natural language which a user consumes. EAT is again important aspect for LLM. Like you have to ensure that that's there, and the content has to be very concise, actionable, accurate, uh, I mean, and verified. Because if it has to be, it is form of EET, then of course it will be verified. So that's like your content has to be accurate and thing. And then another thing which he said is prioritize FAQ. So if you have proper question and answer form, so in your LLMs, it's you're easy to have that, and make information scannable and very precise. Like if someone, because we need to understand how LLMs are working. LLM's whole objective is there should be a question and there should be an answer to it. Like if someone is asking something, the answer of is coming up. So that's I mean that's my key from one of the session around LLMs. Malha, you can add if you have anything around LLM.
No, I guess you answered most of the things, but I'll take a counter view also, and I think Kyle spoke about it. So when
Yes.
he dropped in a message to his parents and told him, "Okay, do you know about Chat GPT?" and
Yeah.
his parents were like, "Okay, what the heck is that?" Right? So there could be a situation where, while all of us in the industry are gung ho about all the LLM tools, the consumer probably is not even aware of ChatGPT or any LLM.
Correct.
So,
Correct. Correct.
are we making a mountain out of a molehill? Right. So we want to optimize, which is good. We want to optimize for Q&A, which is good. But is the consumer really looking at an LLM tool and asking a question about your brand, your service, etc.? Is the consumer even logging into any of those LLMs, right? Industry definitely are like, okay, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, etc. But yeah, is the consumer really there?
No, so I think there the key takeaway was understand your consumer or your audience. I mean, if your audience need is, I mean, if I mean, I think that's something which we also tell. I usually tell my team members also when you're doing keyword research, understand the search behavior. So if a search results are showing LLMs there, then you have to optimize it because that's a need, because that's because they also only show where you know that people are consuming it. And I think it's not just about chat gpt only, it is also about Google, because Google is also having in their own search results, the first thing which comes up is of course generative results. So there also, are you I mean, again, is your audience, which means that are your keywords having that kind of results? So if there is, then you have to. If there isn't, like if your audience is maybe people who are older generation or people who are very young, who are not adaptable, or or consumers who are not going to, or maybe more of a tech savvy people or more of a medical related people who do not who are not technology savvy kind of audience, then yes, take the call. So first understand your audience, then take the call. But if you want to optimize LLMs, you need to understand them, how they are. Plus, you also need to understand that how you're going to justify that to your. So, as an agency, because I'm talking more from the agency, that how you're going to justify your clients. And if you are an own owner, then you also need to understand how it's going to contribute to your business, because it's not going to directly contribute to your business. It is, again, it is going to be very important part of your brand awareness strategy, so that your brand is visible, your brand is there. So that's why your content, your elements and everything are has to be present.
Yeah, perfect. So I have one more question. I think this is coming from KU again in terms of do we create a different schema for LLMs as Google bots understand JSON LD?
No, I don't think so. It's the same. I mean, we don't have different schemas for LLMs. It is just that if you have your content in the right form of schemas, Google understand that this is what we are talking about. Your content has to be precise. It has to be structured. If it is question and answer, the question and answers should be there. This is the heading. This is the bullets. Has to be clearly visible. Google understand those things. So I think another important thing which I remember in the same session was that now if you SERPs are changing. So actually the actual organic first ranking literally comes after sixth or seventh position. You will have your products, you will have your images, you will have your people also ask, you will have your sponsored. Then the original at times we have the first position, so the search is changing. So even if not part of the LLMs, even if you want to be part of the other elements of the search, you have to have schemas. Mala, you want to take?
Fantastic. So, I guess it has. We have probably answered most of the questions. Again, keep sharing your questions. Right,
Yeah.
we are here to
I
answer
think
as.
there was a Suresh question, how AI SEO changes the keyword strategy for any business.
Yeah.
I'm going to take both the questions of Suresh together, how AI changes the keyword strategy for any business, and considering AI overviews and AI search engine quick answers, what should be our content strategy? Okay, so I'll first talk about the keyword strategy. I think when voice search came up, we talked about those. I mean, it's we talked about the long queries. So again, that's the same approach for AI also. I am not seeing much change in terms of keyword strategy per se at this point of time because we don't have any tool which is tracking what kind of keywords is really performing in different AIs. So one is that. Second is like for one of my own B2B clients, we are seeing that we're getting tractions from ChatGPT, from Perplexity, all the AIs. But then again, I'm not able to track that which terms, which keywords. So we don't have any tool right now who can tell us that from where exactly those keywords are coming up. So, in terms of strategy, I would say let's stick to the basics again. I mean, our generic approach. It should be intent based because that's what people search in. Um and again, in for AI, you will not be able to optimize keyword based because there it is I mean, so for example, if I want to rank for Google and in Google generative AI, if I'm talking about, then yes, it has to be basic keywords, voice search keywords. That's the strategy which we'll be considering. But if I'm really talking about the AIs, then there we don't search keyword related. There we have prompts, and we are not doing like right now for search engine we are not doing prompt engineering, and prompts is now again prompt is very similar to your AI algorithm itself. They try to pull up the information from different variables and then show the response. So it's again about relevancy of the content. It's again about how it's not just a so the keyword strategy now I feel is not just going to be focused on one keyword per page. It is also focusing on different sections of her per page, like every section what is your intent, what is the keyword which you want to target about. So that's about keyword. And I think if you okay, the second one was what should be the content strategy. The content strategy is again similar to what talked about in LLMs as well. It for in for the AI world also it has to be very precise, very clear. You should like the users should know what they are understanding, and it should be in the user's language because it's again it's an advanced version of human who's responding. So it has to be conversational, that when people are replying you can the when people are asking something, even the search and the AIs are able to understand you. And I think even here in the Himani's session, she talked about the content strategy. Malhar, do you have any take from that session? Or you were not there at that time?
But I guess this answers the question. So again, to a KU, how do you measure AI traffic for the website? Uh, Good question. I don't know. Do you have a right answer for it, Isha?
How do you measure AI traffic for
AI
websites?
traffic from website.
So, I mean, currently, if you ask me, analytics is showing you.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a
if
very basic thing, right? It's just, yeah.
yeah, I have seen in my clients, so I can say that I've seen all the yeah, in the referral traffic. I have seen the not just even in referrals. So some places I remember when organic attributed traffic, when you pull up the data, you'll be able to see that from what websites the traffic is getting attributed. Then you can see the sites. So there you will see a lot of AI sites if you are getting traffic from those AI sites. But yes, you will not be able to track from Google whether it is coming from AI or from a basic search result. So that's another uh, difficult thing to track right now. Like I think, and I don't think so. Google is going to show anything right now, but I still feel that there are a lot of, in terms of keyword strategy and even in terms of keyword ranking performance, SEM Rush and other tools are now showing that if you're ranking for generative AI and also, so you can use multiple combinations. So from the keyword, you can use these tools to see whether we are ranking for those keywords, and you can see from analytics whether you are getting tractions from those tools.
Super. Fantastic. So I guess we have little almost 30 minutes left for the session. So if you still have questions, start pumping, right? Uh, Meanwhile, I'll move on to something which is more on the softer side of the entire because I see a lot of interest in people to attend events and attend such kind of gatherings. So, uh, say from your own experience, and you have been part of various events, not just this one. How can someone make the best out of such kind of gatherings, industry gatherings, where you have people across, sometimes across the globe, sometimes across industries, across agencies?
Okay, so I think in today's world, your personal branding is very important. So, and what I've learned in my in the whole business world is your network is your net worth. So one of the most important thing um which we capture in most of these events is networking. Even if we end up making one or two people, if we have any, I'm not talking about getting businesses or rather getting your jobs from these spaces, but you met one new friend. I think even for me, Malhar, I think you people, Parth, Ashish, Amrish, all of these people have Himani also. I've just met her because of I went to one of the conference. So and now, like now we met in this particular session also a lot of international renowned people. So I mean, I think even if you ask me, it's one important thing. If you want to create your own network, you should be attending these events because that's help you. Second, I feel from for a person like me, I mean, I'm also a bit of an introvert, so who is always skeptical of whether I should, what will I do, how will I be able to talk to someone. I'll first ask my network people, are you going? Then only I'll go. So for people like us, going once in a while, I'm not saying go to every event, but once in a while going to these events also help us boosting our confidence that yes, you can go, you can talk to these people. These people are approachable. These are, again, these are humans. They are not aliens that okay, you can't talk. So they're not celebrities, they are like normal humans like you, they're easily approachable. Second is, I think if you have you this is a great platform. If you have problems, people solve them. You can go up, approach anyone, especially when you heard their conferences, or rather when you heard somebody that they are working on something similar space, you can go and talk to them. So lot of learnings, a lot of networking, and boosting up your own confidence, creating your own brand. Last important thing also will be, you will get a lot of your own social media content out of these events, because then you will be having something to post on your own social media. I have my next 2 weeks calendar, which I'm going to talk about, like each presentation and session, giving my own takes on that session. You have your own social media calendar also in place. Uh, and last but not the least is, you, if you are smart enough and you are not selling yourself directly, you get something out of it. So you mean you will get something out of it. So I mean, I've seen there only, I've seen people getting jobs, I'm seeing people getting businesses, people getting partners. So yeah, it's a good place.
This was a very nice point in a way that, see, sometimes even before going, we think, okay, there will be a lot of competitors there, right? There will be people who are competing with me on business, on everything, probably. But for me, when I look at such events, it is say, how can I move away from being a competitor to be a collaborator, right? Can I say someone, because everyone has different skills, right? Can there be a complementary skill which I probably don't want to invest? I don't have the bandwidth to invest, or probably I don't have the money to invest, probably, right? But someone else is already doing that. Someone else is already pretty good. Again, let take an example of automation, right? Someone probably has done much better. If I am going to start today, I have to start from scratch. But someone is already done, say for 3 4 5 kind of integrations, knows an in and out of some of the stuff. Can I look at collaborating with them? Can I accelerate my process of adoption, right? So think of those events as a place where you can network, not just for the sake of okay making one more LinkedIn connection, but think of something else. Can I collaborate with someone and accelerate? Because end of the day, it has to be mutually beneficial. It cannot be a singularly beneficial kind of stuff, right? So think of it as that way. And then, like you mentioned, the second point is knowledge, right? This could be one place where people from different walks of life coming together, sharing their expertise. And I, whenever I go to an event, I make sure that I check with the organizer, are there going to be a case study led, or it's just a presentation gyan kind of stuff, right? If it is a case study led, then there is more meat to the conversation rather than just some okay, here are some features and you can use these features. See, anyone today can say you pick up those information from anywhere, but if there is a case study, people has really say burned their fingers, done something, then it adds a lot of value. Then they will know, okay, what, because beyond what you should be doing, what I am also keen is what I should not be doing. And only someone who has probably done it will tell you that okay, you should not do certain things, right? So that becomes more important.
I think, I mean, when you were talking, something which came into my mind was that if you are somebody who feel that you know everything, don't go to these conferences, because if you go with that attitude, you will not learn anything. And if you are somebody who is just going to this conference to get business out of it or to get something out of it, then also don't go. Because what happens is, if you go with an expectation, you will not be able to full fulfill that. I think you should go to these conferences with a very open mind. One, you should go. First of all, I 100% agree with you. Even I do the same thing. That ask the organizers, see the session, see who is basically who are the panelists, who are the speakers, what are the sessions which are going to happen, and whether they're going to add any value to your own learning, and whether there's something which you are really looking into. And Malhar, when you talk about competition, I literally, so we had one session of women in SEO community. So there were 60 women who came in out of the 200. So we were just like yesterday only I got the numbers that there were only 60 women out of the 200 audience. So we need to increase our ratio next year. So we had a woman in SEO session where I literally said the same thing. I said, you know, we all are here. Some of you must be thinking that we are competitors because we are doing the same thing. There are three, four people who are running the agencies. Everyone wants the client. And if you're like, came here just to expect that, okay, you'll get more clients, this is not the right place. And I think Imani there very nicely said the same thing, that we should stop thinking as competitor and start thinking as collaborator. We should start seeing each and everyone has what is a person who has better, like somebody who is better in content, somebody who's better in technical, someone who is more better in operational, someone is who's more in that, and we should collaborate each other to help each other in a way that we serve the industry better. So that's something which you should. And having I mean, after this, I think Parth question is right on the same topic, that what was the main purpose of the event, sessions or networking, or was it as a balance between both? I think Parth, it was very smartly or very nicely organized. Yes, there were a lot of sessions. Of course, it was the first event, so I would say that there were hiccups, but we should ignore those hiccups, because doing this at international level will have you need a courage to do that. So those things needs to be avoided. But it was actually combination of both. The first day was complete learning. So there you will hardly get any chance. But if you are a VIP, you get a lot of networking sessions. And apart from VIPs, also, if you are pro and you are smart enough to network with people, you get a lot of places where you can network. I remember, so I mean, I'll tell you my strategy, what I did, because I was there, and I also had my brother along with me. He works with my organization. He's a chartered accountant. He doesn't know anything about CA. I called him. I said, "You come. You do the sales part. I'll be doing the knowledge part." So I was there in the session. He was there doing the networking. So it's all on you, how you want to explore and how you want to capture the audience. Because there were, and he upfrontly told me that there were people who were hardly inside and constantly outside doing networking. So if you want networking, that was there. If you want session, that was there. If you want knowledge, that was also there. And if you want to make new friends, that was also there. There was an after party also. And there's still also, they have made a very good WhatsApp community, which is pretty active, which is pretty helpful also to each other. If anyone has any problems with, they're helping it. Not from, I won't say they're helping you in getting business, they're helping you in getting jobs, they're helping you in getting your problem solved and making the SEO industry better.
Okay, so last 2 minutes, I'll just get squeeze in time for last one question, which is we talked about it a lot though, AI in SEO. So have you started using it? If yes, what is your experience? If no, when are you going to start it?
I was actually traveling after post the event, so I really didn't get the time. I used it in the workshop session the next day where the workshop started. I started creating the flow, but I didn't execute it because I was not very confident on it. I just came back 2 days back, so surely in next 15-20 days you'll see one of the process which I'm going to execute it, and I'm going to share that with you. And I've already told you, Malhar, that if I'm stuck here, the first one, I'm going to talk to you that, okay, now what, where.
Absolutely.
So
So question goes to the audience also in terms of have you started using any kind of automation AI in SEO, right? If yes, what is your experience? What tools you are using? If no, when are you going to use it, right? Because if you don't start now, it could be probably late. So
Yeah.
start
Thanks.
doing it right away. But before we allow you to go, Isha, probably you can share your coordinates in terms of your LinkedIn, Twitter, etc., your agency details, etc., so that people can stay in touch.
I'll share in the chat later so that people, because it's more of they remember their clicking in it rather than me talking about. Otherwise, my Twitter handle is at the rate s okay
Isha SEO. I know it.
sorry. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I was just reading one of the comment. Yes, Isha SEO is my Twitter handle, and Isha Mehendiratta is my LinkedIn profile. I'll share both of the links separately in the chat.
So thank you so much for being a wonderful guest, sharing your insights, and it's always a pleasure to talk to you because
Same
we
here.
always come back learning something new. So thank you so much, and thanks to our wonderful audience. There were some interesting questions, so thank you for all those. If you're watching the replay, ask your questions there too. Don't worry, we will answer them on the chat window. You can join the WhatsApp community of SEO Talk. Also, it would be wonderful to have you folks part of the